Hello, CSGO vote team. I'm providing you with some video feedback so that you will have clear direction on the types of revisions and edits you need to make in order to be successful for your final campaign paper. So I've shortened your title a little bit. It was just too long here. So it's CSGO vote. I'm not sure what CSGO means. You'll need to explain that somewhere in your campaign book here. There's your title page. Now your table of contents. This should be at the top. The executive summary was far too long. It cannot be more than one paragraph, one page. I've made extensive edits here for you to view and consider and incorporate in your final paper. The research plan had also some kind of awkward wording. Remember, we do not use any contractions in formal writing. So this would be, instead of didn't, it would be did not. And we can just get rid of that, okay? Be careful using unspecified pronouns, unspecified pronoun references. They later began to add men to the league, and it officially became, okay. So you could say the League of Women Voters later began to accept male members, and in the 1960s it officially became the League of Women Voters of Orange County. So here we have another unspecified they. I've tried to rewrite some of your sentences to make them more active. So here's a fundamental issue with your writing. There's far too much use of first-person narration. First person is I or we or our. So let's just see how many times you've used those words. We, you've used 14 times. An hour is used 24 times. So that's 38 times that you've used first-person narration in this paper. That's more than twice per page, and you should only use it maybe 10 times throughout the whole paper. So instead of our campaign, it's this campaign. I want you to review the APA-style resources in the left column of our course's Blackboard page. So if we look at Blackboard, you'll see it here. And if we go to our course, go to political communication, you can see that on the left side here are APA style resources, how you can write your paper in APA style. You'll particularly want to pay attention to how to format your in-text citations as well as your bibliography in APA style. I also urge you to take your paper to the Writing Center and let them go over it before you submit it, the final version for your paper. In terms of the first-person narration, you want to be careful because you need to remember that you and your team will not execute this campaign. You are developing a fully fledged campaign proposal that you would present to the League of Women Voters of Orange County that they will actually execute. So you do not write in your paper or say in your presentation that we will post on Reddit or that we will table at MegaCon, because we will not be doing those things, right? So don't say we will do something relating to executing this campaign, because that's not accurate. This is a formal campaign plan for the League of Women Voters to execute, not you or your team. Also, if your paper refers to events where your campaign will register voters, be sure to give the names, addresses, dates, times, and purposes of these events. From what time to what time, on what dates, at what address would this event occur? For instance, where is MegaCon going to be located? If your paper refers to using social media, be sure the tactics and timeline sections describe the content, both verbal and visual, as well as the platform, like Reddit, where this post would be published. You also need to provide in the tactics and timeline section the dates, times, the visual, the images, the verbal, the words that would be used in these posts on Reddit, for example. So, and here's another fundamental problem. Net neutrality, was recently repealed, right? You know that, right? That's what you are trying to use to activate your audience. So it's actually incorrect to say that net neutrality would result in higher charges. It's the repeal of net neutrality that's going to result in these high charges. Net neutrality would charge extra. No. Net neutrality prevented internet service providers from charging extra because without net neutrality, now those internet service providers can charge extra for their users to access certain services. Without net neutrality, these internet service providers may block content. And so you need to be real clear about this. It's not net neutrality that would charge extra. It's the repeal of net neutrality that will allow the internet service providers to charge extra. Don't use like a cut from every website. It's not, that's kind of colloquial or cliche language. You want to say would allow internet service providers want to charge more for their users to access every website, right? More unspecified references here with this what? Lack of tendency doesn't make sense. The obstacles, this campaign needs to overcome include the low voter turnout rates among young people, right? You're much too wordy in this paper, and you use things like tendency or the lack of tendency, which is extremely awkward and wordy, right? Younger people are more hesitant to vote. No, are less likely than older people to vote for many reasons, such as convenience, lack of caring, and perceived inexperience. We'll let that go. Never use the word hope in any of your formal writing. A campaign plan is not built on hopes and dreams, right? It's built on strong planning. So this campaign is designed to appeal. This campaign is designed to appeal to young citizens using the issue of net neutrality. Something along those lines, right? Or to appeal to young citizens and activate their participation in the political process using the issue of net neutrality. Threats to not our campaign, but this campaign, right? Okay. And you'll see too much first person. There are some unforeseen weaknesses, then you couldn't write about them because they'd be unforeseen, right? So they're not unforeseen because you're foreseeing them as you write this paper. So just stop being wordy is my best advice here on how this got centered. Let's make it back to left justify. Secondary research report goes here. I've corrected some of your citations, so this is now correct. And this one's now correct. Put the comma in here. Don't say or write amongst. It sounds like we're writing in the 15th century. Just among, okay? Amongst just sounds very strange. It sounds archaic. This campaign, not our campaign, this campaign will focus on educating millennials on the importance of political involvement, as well as persuading gamers to be more, well, we've got politically involvement. It's just repetitive. Political involvement, politically involved. This goal is not serves as both. It is both because this campaign will educate. All kinds of tense changes going on here. You don't need quotation marks, right? This is not a quotation. You only use quotation marks for quotations. Using those quotation marks around informal terms doesn't make them okay. Only use quotation marks for quotations. About our cause, no, about net neutrality. This goal is both informational and motivational because this campaign will educate the gamer population about net neutrality and motivate them to take a change. How do you take a change? To vote in upcoming elections. The quantitative, you don't need to say is mentioned later. The quantitative objectives. So when you're talking quantitative, goals are broad and qualitative. Quantitative goals are objectives. The quantitative objectives include increasing gamer turnout in the 2018 Florida Senate election by 6% over what? How you increase it compared to what? By 6% compared to 2016 turnout, which is the last midterm election, okay? So be careful here. In your tactics, there's a strong gaming community within it that we are targeting as 87%. Okay, that's good. So I don't understand here. What content are you going to post on? Does this campaign propose posting on Reddit? On what dates? On what times? What words? What images? What messages are you going to post on Reddit? I don't see anything here. Also, the tactics. Make sure, you need to get in touch with the organizers of MegaCon and see if it would be okay to have a table there. Also consider whether or not the League of Women Voters is interested in going there to table, because we are not doing these things, right? They are. So what they would maybe need to do would be to recruit interns to go there, or some other way to activate these gamers. Alternatively, events at local high schools could be used to activate gamers based on the repeal of net neutrality, okay? This timeline doesn't make any sense, right? So the election dates for 2018, the primary is in August and the general election is in November, but your campaign only runs from April to May. I'm really confused about that. The campaign should run at least until the election. Does that make sense? So it should run until November 6th. And it could maybe begin August 1st would make more sense. Or maybe if you want to think about using MegaCon, then you could start in May. Okay? but it has to run until November. It has to run to Election Day. It can't just be over months before the election. I don't understand why quantitative is capitalized here, and I still don't understand how you're going to, okay, you're going to use a survey. Okay. And number of visits to the subreddit page. That sounds good. Make sure that you've identified how many visits you want to the subreddit page in your objectives. You need to include Reddit in your objectives, okay? Where is Reddit in the goals and objectives? Okay. So you got quite a bit of work to do, folks. Let me know if you have any questions.